Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today we're reacting to Sadhguru at JNU, Youth and Talk Full Talk. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of these because this, again, the question and answer stuff are quite interesting to kind of spin a little bit away from the yogas at the moment, to kind of, I guess, kind of do something a little bit different. And this is quite interesting in a way. Well, at least I think so. Q&A for sure. And I guess this kind of goes a little bit to see what the youth are asking and asking a wise person. So let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be split into 4 parts, by the way, just in case I talk too much, like I already am doing.
To everyone. Well, when it was my time, I did not spend enough time in the university. So here I am making it up with all of you. And all of you are heavily privileged that you're in such a premier institution in the country. What a fabulous campus you have. And why this Youth and Truth? How it came about? Well, in the last 36 years, it's been a constant refrain, thousands of people coming to me and always saying, many people, Sadhguru, when I was 20, where were you? Now you have come when I'm 60, what am I supposed to do? So, they're accusing me that I did not arrive early enough in their lives. So I thought we will step out and meet the young people in this country. So this is why Youth and Truth. And essentially, what life means is, well, everybody they have their own opinions about what life is, but essentially, our life is just a certain amount of time and energy. Time is running out for all of us at the same pace. As we sit here, it's ticking away. What's ticking away is not the watch, what's ticking away is our life. Life is just getting over as we sit here. So, this is something we cannot control, we cannot stop, we cannot slow down, we cannot reverse, it's just going away. The only thing we can manage is our energies. That segment of life which we refer to as youth is a time of life when your energies are most exuberant. Most youth do not understand this. They think they are going to be like this forever. Believe me, it's not so. I want you to pay attention to older people, how they walk, how they move, how they sit, how they stand. You will understand what I'm saying. This level of energy, this level of exuberance is not going to be with you forever. It's only in this segment of life, which we refer to as youth, this is possible. So when your energies are at their best, if you bring some sense of clarity and balance into your life, this will lead to better use of this energy, otherwise this exuberance may work against you in your life. One thing I'm seeing is, see, if we want to produce a great society, a great nation, or a great world, we cannot build a great nation, a great society, we can only build great human beings. How do great human beings happen? Well, in some way, the individual genius has to unfold itself. Every individual human being, irrespective of who they are, everybody has a certain genius. But my percentage, if it's wrong, please tell me in JNU. If the percentage is more or less, please tell me. But my estimate in the world is, the number of people who manage to unfold their genius on this planet are less than 1%. 99% go without ever touching that dimension, just being concerned about livelihood, about this struggle, about that struggle, their own thoughts and emotions endlessly occupies them.
I would say probably 1%'s a bit high.
Only less than 1% of the people unfold their genius. If we can raise this to 10% on this planet, this will become a fantastic world. Never before in the history of humanity did any generation have the kind of comforts and convenience and technological empowerment that we have today. Do you agree with me? Those of you who are looking at me through the phone, I'm asking you, hello. That's your third eye right now, the Samsung eye. So, we are the most empowered generation ever. But this empowerment, how is it going to be… how is it going to unfold our lives? If we do the right things, if we know how to harness our own energies, our intelligence and our genius properly, with the kind of empowerment we have right now, we have the possibility to become the best generation ever on this planet. No other generation was this well equipped as we are. We are the first generation with this kind of empowerment. So it is in this effort that we are doing this Youth and Truth. This movement will continue. This is not just about visiting universities and colleges and speaking to them. We want to compile a whole lot of questions and answers so that this generation and the next generation, whatever kind of questions they ask, there must be some kind of sensible answer for them.
You know, I was gonna ask, like, does it still do this? I don't know if it's done one recently. Perhaps maybe because of pandemic or something, but I think this is really awesome to do, to go to colleges at the time where a lot of people are, I guess, at their peak. Peak at what, though? Their curiosity, their intellect, to some degree, to their moment in life where, you know, you're 18 and under, you're kind of still a child, that you don't really have much power in terms of legal power and individual power in terms of what you can do with your own life. And college days is kind of when you're trying to find your path. And I think Sadhguru going to these colleges is a perfect time for people that are… I think this is where most of the people are kind of lost in their lives. After high school and before graduating college, a lot of people I think are lost. And I think this is a great time for wise people like Sadhguru to go to colleges and help them try to find a path, or at least point them in a general good direction. Don't get me wrong, they're not just spiritually lost, they're financially lost and life lost as well. But I think with Sadhguru's help, there's a lot they can guide them in the right direction and kind of, again, set them in kind of a right direction where they're not completely lost at the very least. And also, not only that I want to ask if it's still doing this, but I want him to do this in the United States, because I am curious also to see the wide range of stupidity and wise people in the United States. I want to see the whole range. What kind of stupid questions we ask and what kind of brilliant questions we ask, and kind of get the feel of how college students are nowadays too.
So, today I'm telling the three of you to unplug and ask whatever, okay?
Namaskaram Sadhguru. On behalf of the entire JNU community, I welcome you to JNU, our very precious campus.
Thank you very much.
It is a sheer privilege and pleasure to have you here for the evening.
It's good. Only when you speak.
We have been very excited about the event, and the huge turnout of the audience manifests both the excitement and our gratitude. Especially the three moderators on the stage are overwhelmed to be here on the stage with you. We'd like to introduce ourselves to you and to the audience. I am Anima Sonkar, pursuing PhD in Russian and Central Asian Studies, School of International Studies. I am not just joyous. It was a dream come true to meet you. And it is very important for me to be an integral part of the event.
Namaste Sadhguru. My name is Sundaresh. I am pursuing PhD in JNU Center for Educational Studies. I am so happy. I have no words to express how happy I am.
Hello Sadhguru. My name is Anjali Yogi. I am pursuing
Oh,
PhD.
you're a yogi too.
The another yogi. But I am pursuing my PhD in Center for South Asian Studies at School of International Studies. And the journey from watching your YouTube videos to having an interaction with you has been very overwhelming. So, yeah.
Sadhguru, if I can structure how the event will unfold tonight, we have prepared around 10 to 12 questions that we will be discussing in the panel. Then we will take up some of the questions that have come on social media, because we understand everybody cannot be on the campus. So we have chosen questions which resonates among the youth. After that, we open this house for the wonderful audience that we have for the evening. Thank you. Sadhguru, so the first question is, when we introduced this Youth and Truth campaign to our students and scholars in JNU, the initial resistance was the very premises of Youth and Truth campaign. What truth per se is, and who qualifies you to answer all kinds of questions?
Well,
That is, hey, not exactly a wrong question. What makes you, Sadhguru, the dictator of what is or isn't true?
I'm glad that you're asking what is truth. Well, whatever truly works on all dimensions of life must be the truth, isn't it? From ancient times in this country, they said Satyameva Jayate. That means only truth works. When Mahatma Gandhi came, he used it as a political slogan for those times. But now you have come to a place where you will question whether truth will work or not. So I'm putting it the other way around for you. What really works in all dimensions of life must be the truth. Hello?
Yes.
If something really works in every aspect of life, that must be the truth, isn't it? So what qualifies me? Well, you must find out now. Because I cannot say, I'm qualified to answer all the questions. You must find out.
Sadhguru, next question is, JNU is a very politically vibrant campus, and it is impossible or impractical to be apolitical in this campus. One way or other way, we are labeled to a particular ideology, right, left, center. I give you an example. When I came to this campus, I did not get hostile immediately, so a student activist came to me. He told me to come his room. I went to his room, and when I saw there were 7 students who were already staying in a tiny room. So I refused to stay there, and I stayed outside the campus. But a large section of MA and BA students who stay there, and since they are staying there, it is an obligation to participate in political activities and all. So if they participate in political activities, they are labeled as a particular ideology, they belong to particular ideology. One. Second example, whenever we give a particular opinion, maybe on campus issues or national issues or international issues, we are labeled to a particular ideology. My question to you, Sadhguru, how can a student remain a neutral or free thinker?
I mean, that's pretty obvious even in life itself. Whenever you talk to people and you give strong opinions to something that matters to someone, you are labeled no matter what. And it's very difficult not to be labeled something no matter what it is. And no matter how hard you try, there are some people that will forever label you one way, whether you are that or not. And generally these are people of extremes. How not to be labeled? Well, that's impossible in my opinion. Unless, obviously, I think if the teachings of Sadhguru is not to be identified with labels. If everyone could do that, there would be no problem. But obviously not everyone can do that. So, until everyone can do that, it is impossible not to be labeled. Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that other than to be truthful to who you are and be honest. I mean, you will be labeled no matter what, but at least you can be consistent with your point of view, whatever you're left, right, or center. If you start changing your point of views, how to say that, if you're inconsistent with your point of views, you are labeled something a lot, I would say kind of a lot worse than left, right, or center, because you kind of, you may have this idea of rules for everyone else, but not for me kind of deal. It's like, oh, everyone needs to be at bed at 8 o'clock, except for me. I can go to bed whenever I want. Kind of a rule, you set that rule, says everyone must be, but not for me. Then you start, I don't know how to, but I mean, it's basically, there are extremes groups like that in the United States where the far left or far right, where they start saying that rules need to take place, but oh, the rules must not apply to my political party or my political leaning. They can't apply to me, but everyone else. We apply that to everyone else, and that's a really, in my opinion, a bad rule. You can be left or right, but if you're consistently fair in your rules, I think you're in a pretty good standing. But you have extremes.
Well, this has become a phenomenon not just in your university, this has become a phenomenon across the country.
Across the world,
if you
too.
open your mouth to say something about the nation, they will try to fix you to some ideology, even me, not just you. All the time, people are fixing me, sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right, sometimes they want to hang me in the center. I've always made it clear, my concern is people, not even nationality. My concern is just people, because I work with all kinds of people. In India, outside India, with politicians, with convicts, with tribal women, with all kinds of people, okay, with students, with everybody. My concern is a human being, life. But inevitably somebody is trying to pin you on some notice board, right board or left board or something. This is an unfortunate situation because this is the mechanics of how you destroy a democracy. That is, right now, let us say, you are committed to right, I'm committed to left, because I'm looking more left, okay? So, now we are already committed. Now what is the point of secret ballot, I'm asking? We know these three people will vote for right, left, right, this will vote for left, everybody knows. What is the point of secret ballot? What is the point of offering a citizen the choice of choosing the leadership? In Tamil language, democracy means jananayakam, that means people are the leaders, that's what it means. People are the leaders, but leaders are all fixed. How do you make leaders out of them? How do you make a democracy work? If you want a living democracy, the most important thing is, except for a few party workers, others, the rest of the population should not be committed to any party, any ideology. We give somebody a 5-year chance, if they do well, we give them one more chance, if they don't do well, we bring somebody else. This is how it should be. But unfortunately, this has become a worldwide phenomenon. In United States, it was worse. I thought India, I was proudly speaking in United States, we have a living democracy. But now in the last 5 years, I've just kept quiet about Indian living democracy because we have also become the same thing.
It's like America's become worse. Or it was better or something? No, I think it's gotten worse. I think it seems like the political stuff has gotten worse. Now, I don't know if it's just because I'm becoming more aware of it, I'm paying attention to it a little bit more. Perhaps that is the case. Perhaps it's always been worse, and I just become more aware of it. I genuinely don't know. It does feel like it's gotten worse, but truth be told, I genuinely don't know. And I'm sure people who pay more attention to politics now are probably the same way. They say, oh, it's gotten worse. But unless you paid attention to politics in the past, it probably has always been the same. Probably. Probably. But I wouldn't doubt it's gotten worse. At least a little bit worse. Because there's a lot more to politics now than there was before. A lot of things before were kind of hush-hush because it wasn't, right to say it. Where now there's a lot of rights are being pushed, which is a good thing to have equal rights. But I think a lot more things has come into it which is irrelevant, and they're trying to push this irrelevancy and has made politics more divisive.
It's like this. A veteran Republican leader was dying. He was on his deathbed. Then on his deathbed, he requested, "I want to join the Democratic Party." People said, "Not you. You've been a Republican all your life. So was your father and your grandfather. All were Republicans, and now on your deathbed you want to become a Democrat?" He said, "Yes, I want to become a Democrat." They said, "Why?" He said, "I would rather have one of them dying." So it's become this bad. Please, all of you young people, I'm telling you, this is for every citizen in the country, but particularly in the university, please debate issues in the nation. Don't take sides. Every damn issue in the country you must debate. But do not take sides at this stage in your life, because you are destroying democracy in this country. Because if this is just like a clan, this is like a community or a religion. I belong to this party, you belong to that party, no matter what, I'm going to vote only to my party. This is a feudalistic society. This is not a democratic society. So, I request all the young people, either in this university, any university, you should not take political sides right now. You must debate issues, and what matters, who is going to offer solutions, they must get the vote. Whoever offers a proper solution, they must get the vote. Your vote is already committed, you're destroying democracy. Please don't do this. The most valuable thing we have, for all the troubles we go through, and all the news channels shouting at us, we endure all that only because we have democracy. Please do not destroy this by taking sides.
I mean, he ain't wrong on that one. And that's very interesting. Obviously you want to debate what is good for your country, and you want to remove your biases as much as possible, but it's very difficult for people. And I think this choosing sides is because while no one side, no, not the Republican nor the Democrat side, could completely fulfill your wants in terms of the political system, but you tend to pick Democrat or Republican because they tend to have more ideas that align with yours. So it's like, well, I'll vote Republican because a lot of the issues that I have are being addressed by the Republican Party, or I vote Democrat because a lot of the issues are being handled by the Democratic Party. And even though it's not 100%, it just, for Republican versus Democrat, the Democrat has one more issue that you agree with than the Republican Party, or you vote Republican because it has one more issue that you agree with than the Democratic Party. But what Sadhguru, I think, was saying here is what's going on with the last few years, at least in America, about they don't like Donald Trump, or they don't like Hillary Clinton, or they don't like Obama, or they don't like Bill Clinton, well, Bill Clinton, or George Bush, or Mitt Romney, or whoever that is. It's like, I'll vote for the other person because I don't want them, irrelevant of the politics. And you can say it's gotten worse because they're saying like, well, both of them are garbage. I just don't want the other one to win. But what can you do?
Sadhguru, now I'm afraid to even ask my question, because my question is, I am a student activist. I get multiple opportunities to represent my organization on various platforms, especially media. And in doing so, I garner immense recognition. But when I interact with the same students and youths, among which I have that recognition, they expect me to practice humility overtly. So why, for a woman in politics especially, why am I made apologetic about my success for the good work that I'm doing?
It's not apologetic. I think most people should be humble. Initially, of course. Because if you come out arrogant or assertive in a bad way, it's not good. Not good looking on you and your party. But to be calm, cool, and collective, I guess is the famous saying, you will come out looking strong. Stronger than someone who's aggressive. There's a certain level of aggressive that's good, but obviously you have to find a balance there. Calm, cool, collective, generally speaking, pretty good. Aggressive, you're trying to walk that fine line of not being bad.
See, what you're referring to success is just recognition. That means a few people are applauding. The people who applaud today, tomorrow morning they will turn around and throw stones at you, the same people. This is the way of the world, okay? So do not float away in the sky because somebody is applauding. It's like this, you went outside, somebody told you you are the most wonderful human being on the planet. So you came home floating on cloud number… What cloud number?
9.
Only 9. In South India we do 11, huh? You came home floating on whatever number of cloud. At home, people told you who you really are. And it crashes. Don't get into this mode. Never do you float up, nor do you go down because somebody says something. That will happen only because you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you are clear what you're doing, people can say what they say, they're great things, but you know the limitations. They say horrible things, but you know what you're doing. That's all that's important in life. If you are going to get bloated because somebody said something nice, or going to get depressed because somebody said something horrible, oh, you got something coming up in your life. You can't take up any great responsibility because if you are going to be affected by what somebody is saying, either positive or negative things about you, you will always limit your life because if you step out, obviously so many people will say so many things. There is nothing that people don't accuse me of, just about everything in the universe. What a man can do and cannot do, everything. But as long as you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter.
Sadhguru,
So yeah, I guess this goes back to something I've said, and I try to do myself, which is be honest with yourself and speak your truths. As in, obviously don't lie, be honest, and as far as you know, speak what you know. And then if you're wrong, it's like, oh, well, thank you for telling me, I will correct myself. And, and it's very difficult, in my opinion, to shake someone up who is very being genuine. You cannot catch someone something that they're not trying to lie or not trying to hide or be deceitful of something because they were genuine. Like, there are people out there who have said and done things in the past that are trying to hide it, and they're so worried, it's like, oh man, I can never have this be revealed. You'll break me today because I've contradicted myself. Now, there are people who believe in something in the past, but now have changed their mind. But you can always claim that, and it will not crumble you. As in, like, oh yeah, in the past I was this way, I have learned my lesson and I have changed for the better. This is what all we can do in life is live and learn. Learn from our mistakes, learn from other people, and try to live a better life. But there are people out there that's like, oh, I need to hide this, and I can't have this is the way I was, and it's terrible. It's, again, it goes back to Sadhguru's karma thing, where, it's killing you because you cannot reveal it to the world. You're so worried about it that you don't want anyone to know because it will destroy you. And that's terrible, a terrible way to live a life.
Guru, we would like to little further this question here. Though it is a dangerous question to be asked in
Question is never dangerous, it's only the answer.
this. The campus is little dangerous, maybe.
No, it's only the answer. You're trying to put me in danger, that's fine with me.
The VC said the campus is wonderful.
So, as a student,
Can you
when-
give a little volume, please?
Yeah. So when I entered in the university as a student, I used to think, why to enter in politics? Just make my career and leave the university. So I had this careerist orientation in life. What you think about is studentship and politics? Is it a good mix? Do you think overall is it a good mix?
Good mix or not, politics is something that I think people do need to get involved with, because it is something that's gonna eventually affect you in life. If you let bad people run politics, you will get bad rules in life, in culture, in your city, your town, your country. As sad as it may be, I don't think you should avoid politics. I don't think you don't necessarily need to dive so deep into the crap hole of politics either, but that's kind of hard not to do. But you have to have some control over your government, over your country. I want to say over your people, but because you are part of the people. But you have to try to help guide your country, your government in the right direction by participating in politics. It's not about a good or bad mix. It's about knowing the fact that if enough good people stay away from politics, a lot of the bad people are going to participate in the politics, and we'll get a lot of bad government, a lot of bad rules, a lot of bad stuff in government that will directly affect you in life eventually, just because so many good people have stayed away from politics because they think it's garbage. And trust me, it probably is. Not probably is in fact garbage, but it's only because good people stayed away from politics and let it happen.
See, let's understand the word politics. Unfortunately, today in this country, if I say they're doing politics, that means they're doing something nasty.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Politics means, that means you're into policy making. That's what politics is supposed to be. A politician means somebody who is engaged in policy making. Policy making, is it vital for the making of a nation or no? Is it vital or no? So, first of all, take away the negative connotation of the word politics. So if you are doing politics as a nasty way of doing things with people, definitely you must stop it. But if you're looking how to understand, how to set a policy, maybe you will not become a politician in future, we don't know. But every young person should know how a policy should be made, how solution should be found for a society or a nation. Everybody should think about it. Otherwise, we have become an irresponsible citizenry where we don't even go and vote because we don't know what the hell it is. We think politics means corruption, we think politics means doing something nasty to each other. No, politics means learning to set policies. Setting policies means arriving at something that works for everybody, or at least the maximum number of people, if not for everybody. In a nation or in the world, setting a policy means arriving at a certain framework so that it works for all of us. Isn't this important? Whether you're going to run a 2-member family or 4-member family, or run a small business or an institution or a nation, is this not important? You understand how to set a framework which works for all people concerned. Is it not important? Yes. Whatever you may do, future.
We want little clarification on this. So Sadhguru, in your one of the earlier videos, you have mentioned of having those leftist orientations. You have been involved in putting posters, and you have been in that league of attending attending meetings late in the night and putting posters and all that. But when we were interacting with the students in the campus, we found out that there is this dominant perception about Sadhguru being right-wing. Though you have tried to explain it earlier as well, but this…
No, right?
But this…
Only right arm.
But Sadhguru, this perception is because you have supported government earlier on the issue of demonetization, then later on having no bomb blast occurred in the country. So is Sadhguru,
That's clear.
has Sadhguru turned right-wing now?
And I will say, I do get that idea from Sadhguru, but I don't think it's necessarily a right wing. But the weirdest thing I will say is that I think what a lot of humanitarian, I don't know if that's the right word, a lot of, it might be humanitarian, I don't know how else to say it, but a lot of humanitarian style governance, not necessarily government, but just governance of people, seems to be right-leaning. And I find it kind of fascinating and weird. I think that matters. I think that means along the lines of people self-govern and people do things of their own volition and free will and not being forced upon them. I think left-leaning people tends to want to help people, but it tends to take up with government doing it. Again, I'm not saying left-leaning people or left people all want this, but there's that tendency between right and left where right tends to be individualized as opposed to a government control doing it. They more want the groups like churches or groups of people doing it, whereas the left also wants this kind of assistance, but it tends to be more group oriented, whether it be groups of people, but generally groups of people in power like government. Again, not saying all people on the left or right wants this, but it tends to be the further left you are, the more you want government to have government assistance, whereas the further right you are, the more you want individual or local groups to have the power, not the government. Because, at least in the United States anyway, this is how I'm seeing things, whereas the right tends to be, the further right you go, the less and less trust of the government. Further left you go, the more, not necessarily the more trust in the government, but the more control they want over the government so that they trust it. The right doesn't necessarily trust the government, the left trusts the government so long as it's in their control. Again, further left and further right. The centrist understands that there must be some government control, but not overwhelming to where the people don't have the power. Again, that's why I'm right-leaning, but I tend to be centrist-ish. I don't know, you have to ask me individual questions in terms of my political idea, but I understand that this world doesn't lean right or lean left. That's too extreme, that we need to come up with an idea that where most people will live a happy life, where there's enough control but not too much control, whether that be the government control or the corporation control or the people control. Yeah, anyways.
Is it?
See, right now, we are working with the Tamil Nadu government, which you know is AIDMK. Nobody knows which wing it is.
I don't.
We are doing a lot of work with Andhra Pradesh government. Still, I think even that you can't decide which wing it is. And that wing was part of the big wing in the center, but now it is not, it is flapping against it. Now we are working in Kerala, which is left wing, and we are working with the central government. If you want to call it right wing, you can call it right wing. I'm saying, what is this problem with the government? Government means, in a democratic country, it's people's choice, isn't it? Now I don't respect people's choice. I respect only my choice. I think you're a nutcase. You're fanatical.
Yes.
You're fanatical about your own beliefs. I don't belong to any wing, but when people elect, whether I agree with it or I don't agree with it, personally, whether I agree or I do not agree with it, I will bow down to people's will, because that's what democracy means. Now, the significance of democracy is just this. Why can't we have… well, you mentioned about my… say that I was only 14, okay? Please pardon me.
Young blood, that time.
Even now…
But then you are putting…
even now young,
Sadhguru, you are putting it as it was your mistake. You were
no,
just
I did
14.
not say it's my mistake. It is just that I'm telling you, this is 70s. 1967, Che passed away. You don't understand at that time, Che was like… he was like our elder brother, he died. And how he was killed, those stories spread everywhere. And there's a lot of emotion in all of us. Even today I see people wearing Che's t-shirt and going. Most probably, a whole lot of them don't know who he is, they think he's Bob Marley or something. So, at that time, it's like our elder brother was killed in Bolivia. And at that time, the nation was in a state where it looked like there's not going to be any solution in this country at that time. So we thought, we and a whole lot of other people believed, unless there's an armed revolution, there is no way out for this country. And even in school, there were teachers who were giving us talks. And everywhere there was Russian literature and we read and read, we devoured Russian literature and it all made sense. And I'm always angry. You can't believe this. But I'm always angry because everywhere I see injustice. In home, on the street, everywhere in politics and religion, any damn place I see only injustice and injustice and injustice. So I am all the time 24 hours angry about something. When you're angry, you want a quick solution. You're not willing to wait for solutions to happen, you want a quick solution. So the quick solution looked like armed struggle. These were the heady days of Charu Majumdar and Somalu in the south. Well, we were fired up by that. I'm not regretting those days, but we have come to a time now where we are on a threshold of possibility through democratic means. Never before this has happened in the world, I want you to know this. The only nation which has moved 1 billion people from poverty to a certain level of economic well-being is China, okay? But they did it the hard way, violent way, all bullets and bullets and bullets. But they've done a great job because keeping people for generations in poverty is worse than killing them. In extreme poverty, where nourishment is an issue. So they did what they did in their own way. You can condemn them or you can admire them. For me, it's a certain wisdom, painful wisdom, which they employed and they did. And once they achieved what they have to achieve, now they're trying to move slowly towards a democratic process to some extent, at least open market system they're going into. But with India, we have a unique possibility. We can move 500 to 600 million people from abject poverty in which they are right now to a reasonable level of well-being in a matter of next 10 to 15 years' time. We are just on the threshold of that. Through a democratic process, without bullets, without killing, without massive repression, nothing, no force. Without force, we are able to do it. If we manage to do it, if all of us get together, it will happen, otherwise we'll sit on the threshold forever. Right now there is a possibility we can cross the threshold. I think we must make that possibility a reality because never before any nation, anywhere, has moved 600 million people from poverty to reasonable well-being in a matter of one generation. It's not happened anywhere. We can do this in this country for the first time. So, well, when you were young, you were communist, now you're saying this. I've not changed my position, I'm still that. Because for me, communism means an individual embracing the community as myself. That I still am. I may not be in the party, because the party didn't make sense to me, but communism has not gone out of me. We are a community where we live together, a few thousand people, without any distinction of caste, creed, religion, anything. Nobody I've ever asked who come to Isha Yoga Center, what is your religion, what is your caste? I don't even ask because it never occurs to my mind. So, how I became right-wing in JNU, I do not know. So I feel today, when information is available everywhere, I think young people, educated people should… all of you research scholars should do some research at least, all right? Just making wild conclusions about somebody whom you have not even met, this I've seen everywhere, especially in this country. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, this is what I'm seeing. In this country, people who have never met you seem to know more about me than I know about myself.
That's everywhere.
Those who have never seen me, those who have never met me, those who have never spoken to me, they know more about me than I know about my own life. I think you must give them a PhD because there's such a imaginative research they are doing. So I'm working with governments. I will always work, let everybody know this. Whichever government gets elected, because I bow down to the people's will. My opinion is not bigger. My opinion is not bigger than the people's will of this nation, always.
Sadhguru, even if we buy this…
I think I'll pause it in terms of the video right here, so it's gonna be me talking now. So the thing is, though, I'll say a little bit about… it's kind of odd. I think I get his idea of what he's trying to talk about communism. He's talking about more community, not genuine communism, because communism has, I think, a genuine idea, but I think the biggest problem is the fact that it's very… so far it has never succeeded as far as I know. But I don't think this is necessarily left or right leaning to have a community. I think most people want that, and I think most people ends up in a community anyway. So it's more of about the government control, whether it's capitalistic, socialistic, or communistic. I think you go far left to being communism, to a little bit center left to be socialistic, then I think center right. I think there's a new terminology for it called free market or capitalistic. I think capitalistic a little bit more right leaning, and then probably far right would be corporatism. Perhaps. Again, not too sure. But I know the three things that are very common is communism, socialism, and then capitalism. That's all there is so far. But communism is far left. Socialism is left on the left side, left center or center left, or a little bit further left, but not as far left as communism. Then capitalism is something on the right. I think the fourth one is going to be corporatism, whenever the corporations have more power than the government, and that would be the far right. I think that's my prediction anyway. But I don't think necessarily that Sadhguru is in terms of communism, in terms of the governmental power, but I think this is communism in terms of community, where there is no creed, there's no religion, not no religion, but it's irrelevant what your caste, your creed, you're rich or poor, or whatever it may be. As in that sense, I think he is communistic, but outside of that, there's no communism in there. Because obviously you don't care about people's creed, caste, or whatever. If they come seeking help, help them. Irrelevant of their religion, irrelevant of their background, or whatever it may be. Although I'll say be careful again, because there are bad faith people, and there are bad people out there who will take advantage of people. And that kind of sucks. That ruins it for the rest of us. So anyways, that's part one of this reaction. I can't wait to hear more. It looks like there is a little bit left of the, is Sadhguru left wing or right wing? But we'll save that for the next one. Anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.